Next up, we have It Looks Like a Boss from the epic Conquest 2 original game soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a Layman-Friendly Analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, members and followers and all that kind of stuff, we have a full spiel on it. It's on the end of the video now, so make sure to stick around for that. Otherwise, we have here the disclaimers showing in your screen right now, so go ahead and pause if you want to read them in full. Otherwise, let's go ahead and start it. Let's see what you got. It looks like a boss. Let's go. Okay, so we start with a very nice guitar riff. So a riff is a very, very new version of what would be a motif otherwise. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. And a riff is going to be a motif that is usually put through an ostinato. Ostinato meaning that you're repeating over and over and over and over and over again, and that is then played on a contemporary instrument such as a guitar or a bass or a keyboard, something like that in the context usually of a contemporary band, by the way. And yeah, I'm using the term contemporary because that just means nowadays. That just means nowadays it's the correct term, so to speak. So you have the guitar riff, and the advantage of using riffs instead of motifs is that riffs can be put in both the lead or the or the front line on the lead, so to speak, on the spotlight, or it can go in the background into what is called the accompaniment, which is your backing band or anything. You can put it back and forth, and riffs are a lot more versatile in that sense. You can stack riffs on top of riffs, and you can develop them a lot more. It's a little bit more difficult to develop a riff than it is a motif, but it's a lot more forgiving, because one of the downsides of motifs is that motifs are very, very temperamental, very jealous. And yes, I am going to be using very emotional language like that at times, because music is a very irrational medium that sometimes makes very, very little sense. So, we have the riff going on, and we are also doing an introductory drum, doing what is called drum fills, as well as teasing the initial beat. So a drum fill is equals to a rhythmic cadence. Now, what is cadence? Let me get that out of the way, right? So when you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You are building tension, or you're resolving the tension. That point in between we call a cadence. I'm gonna bring up this. Here I have a keyboard. It's a MIDI keyboard. It's even animated. You can hear it. I've had this the whole time. We're around 450 LFAs by now. The keyboard has been here the whole time. The software has been here the whole time. I legitimately forgot it existed. So I fully expect roasting for this. Alright, so back to the concept of cadence. Cadence is usually something done in the harmony, because when you have music, when you make music, you have three elements. You have melody, you have harmony, and you have rhythm. So, melody is your individual horizontal lines, your rhythm is the use of time, when things happen, how fast or slow, and beat, whatnot, and harmony is a little bit more of a meta kind of thing. It's more extrapolated. What chords you're using, what scales you're using, what chords you get out of your scales, what scales you get out of your chords, the relationship between everything, and one of the things within harmony is called your chord progressions. Now, chord progression is just chords in whatever order you're using them, usually to lead to a cadence. So if we grab the chord C major over here, we can build a cadence by going from C major, which would be the tonic or the root chord, over to G major, which is our dominant chord. That's what they are called, root and dominant. Dominant creates tension. And if we go back to C major, we resolve it with the cadence. So, and there are more ways you can do this. You can actually add a bass to this kind of thing, so we can... So you can feel the tension, even though we only did 3 chords, you can feel the tension, especially if we add more complex stuff like a 7th chord for the G chord. That gives you that extra... it can really add to it. That is what we would usually call a cadence. However, when you have when you have a more contemporary setting of your guitars doing riffs, these are more like loops. So the problem with the loop is that it cadences into itself, and whenever you want to change the loop around, you can't always use the same cadence that you were already using because you've been using it the whole time. So the way that contemporary musicians get around with it, and this is something that is super common practice, is that you have your drummer do a drum fill. So the drum fill is you're just doing one rhythm, you go do something else other than the established rhythm to signify we are about to change, giving you, in essence, a rhythmic cadence. And that is right now what the drums are doing over here. Yes, I got this much yapping out of 5 seconds of the song. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so now we bring in what sounds to be 2 layers of synths, one of them being violins, like strings, like bowed strings, and some bells, giving us what sounds to be our initial motif. And as I said, motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the essence from which everything else comes from. So we have that motif going on over here, which has 2 layers, as I said, the strings and the bells, giving us what we call a doubling. Doubling is when you have more than one instrument playing the same thing. So, let's see where it goes. New version. Oh, we're bringing an orchestra as well. Oh, that was really... Hang on, did I hear it right? We bring trumpets doing trills. Okay, so we bring in... the orchestra does a more... what seems to be a reduced version of what we did originally. Reduction being, of course, when you speed up a motif, right? So reduction being when you speed up a motif. Let's bring back the keyboard. Let's say we have this C major. I keep it simple, right? So we have a C major here. We have that as our motif. And if we were to reduce it, we're speeding up the motif. That kind of thing. The opposite of reduction is elongation, which just means to slow down. And right now we have that, but more interestingly, in order to build cadence here, we have the trumpets doing a trill. Trills and trumpets are pretty tricky, but they're really cool. A trill is when you play 2 notes, one after the other, very fast. That's a trill. And the interesting thing about trills is that trills are, technically speaking, quantum notes. When you have your scale and everything, and you play 2 notes at the same time, when you hit them at the same time and you hold them at the same time, you will get one of 3 things. Consonance, dissonance, or a tritone, which is instability. The tritone being the only degree in music, when it comes to 2 notes, the only group of notes that is inherently unstable, and it's the only one that is symmetrical. And it sounds like this. You can feel the tension between the notes, and it begs for the resolution. Now, consonance is going to be sounds like thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths. And then dissonance is going to be your seconds or sevenths. And this is what happens when you play them together. However, when you play them as a trill, you are playing both notes, but because you're very quickly bouncing back between one another, you are technically playing both and you're playing neither. Which gives us a very interesting concept of playing two notes at the same time and completely erasing this from the question. So, is that a piano behind the monitor? What do you mean? No, the piano is under the monitor. My keyboard is under the monitor. So, we have this, and for example, if we play a couple of things, so let's say we have the key of C major, right? So C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, and then back to C. If you play the notes C, E, and G, you get the chord of C major. If you play the notes A, C, and E, you get the chord of A minor. However, if you were to play G and A as a trill with just C and E in the bottom, so let me do that real quick. Technically speaking, we're playing both and neither. You can say we're playing C major there with an added sixth, or I think it's when you add sixths, it's 13th, and or you can just say it's an A minor chord with a seventh, or you can just say it's both C major and A minor at the same time. They are all correct. That is a really cool thing about trills, and another thing the trills give you is that they extend things and they can help you build more tension. So it's a really, really fun part. Let's see where it goes. Okay, we bring this on. We bring in timpani, and we bring timpani to give us some accents. So, timpani is this really, really cool set of drums. Over here, you can see these very, very, very big drums, and what sets these drums apart is that they are pitched, which means these drums serve a function in harmony. When it comes to harmony, you can have two things. You can have something that is functional, or you can have something that is non-functional. Most percussion that is not pitched, so a drum kit is going to fall under the non-functional part. Because yes, the cymbals, the drum, the snare, everything has a pitch, but because they're not entirely tuned to be at any key to fit within the keys that we're playing, we don't count them, and therefore it's non-functional. However, the timpani is pitched, it is tuned to hit these notes, so it is counted as functional, which makes it both bassy and gives you notes. It's a very, very cool exception when it comes to these types of drums, because usually the types of percussion that you get that are pitched are the mallet percussions, like a xylophone, right? If you look at a xylophone, yes, you can very, very clearly see how these are pitched. Like, you hit this note, and you hit one of these, it's going to be C, no matter what. That kind of thing. With timpani, that's not the case. These ones have to be tuned separately, which gives some issues when it comes to, not issues, but challenges when it comes to composing, but it can be very easily overcome. However, what the timpani is doing over here is what we call a roll. So, a roll in percussion is when you just play really fast. Brrr, that kind of thing. That is a roll. And the purpose of these rolls right now is to do accents. Accents in music is for accentuation. We are accentuating specific points in the rhythm outside of the established beat, or to highlight specific points in the beat. It can be anything as long as you're accentuating, and the timpani roll is giving us that. And you can hear it. Rung. Wrong. You can hear that because we are doing the roll and then releasing the roll with a note being played. Let's see where it goes. Ooh. New version of the motif. We're bringing in the horns, the brass instruments. That was the French horns and I think the trombones as well. So French horn being this very, very lovely instrument. It's one of the more difficult ones to play, just for the fact of how you hold them. but it's a very beautiful instrument. Very, very cool, giving us what I think was... could have... No. I think it was just a change in orchestration and the reduction, I think. Let's see where it goes. Let's continue. Accents over there. Ooh. Yeah, we're bringing all the instruments. Nice. Oh, this is really cool. So now we are engaging in really, really cool counterpoint over here. So counterpoint is the study usually of melodies, how they develop, how they interact, usually in the context of two or more melodies interacting with one another. Counterpoint translates to point against against point, right? That's what it roughly contrapunto, which is, or contrapuntos. It just means point against point. And right now we are getting one of the three types of motion. Counterpoint is measured mostly in motion. You have three types. There's parallel, there's contrary, and then there's similar. So parallel motion is when you have two melodies that are doing the same musical shape, just from different points in the scale. If we bring our very trusty C major motif, we have that one, and if we were to do another one doing the exact same shape, just from a different point in the scale, let's bring it up a third. Very lovely, and if we do them both together, we are now engaging in parallel motion. Contrary motion is, as it sounds, one goes one way, the other one goes another one. So let's have our little motif over here. And then we're going to have the C major motif now inverted, which just means it's going upside down. And if we do that, and there you go, that is contrary motion. Similar motion is what is happening right now in the melody. Similar usually happens with what is called species. Counterpoint. Species counterpoint is usually measured in notes per note. I know, it sounds confusing. So species, you have species 1, which is 1-to-1. For every one note, one instrument, one line plays, the other one plays one note. So let's bring our C 1 point down here, 1 point up here. So species 1 counterpoint would be basically both of them. For every note that the lower one plays, the upper one is going to play one as well. Species 2 means for every note the first one plays, the other one plays 2. So in this case, we would have... So you have that 2 for 1, and you can just keep increasing it, right? Like 3 to 1, 3 to 2, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 5 to 3, that kind of thing. You can just come up with all these kinds of things. And right now we're engaging in similar motion with one of the violins and some of the horns holding a slower melody, slower ascending melody, while the rest are doing the riff with everything else. Let's see where this goes. And by the way, the melody being done in the horns right now on those violins, that would be the elongated version of the melody. Let's see where it is. Reduced version now being played by violins. With some additional support from the brass, some accents. We stop, we bring back the motif, the original motif. And back to... And it sounds like we've looped. It sounds like we've looped. And here's something funny about this one. You can tell the composer doesn't play the drums. Because the fill that the drums are playing right now, not very natural for a drummer to do. How do I know this? If you look at a drum kit, we are having, let me see, a top-down view. Here we go. So right now, we are having three main... Oh, come on. We're having three main points right now, right? So we're having the hi-hat over here that is being hit, pss, 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 while the other three drums are being played by two hands. Toca-tokum. Toca-tokum. So unless you're having somebody like El Esteparo Siberiano giving you the drums, it's going to be not that common for a drummer to be holding that hi-hat while doing the other fill the way that it is being done right now. At least not for this genre. It's more common for, it would be more plausible for the pedal of the hi-hat to be hit instead, and then you have the other hands to go freely around the other drums. Or you go and switch back and forth. There's a little bit more time between the hit of the hi-hat and the hits of the what are called toms. So because the composer has these over here at the same time, you can sometimes tell that with this you can tell the composer not 100% familiar with drums, which I bet the composer plays the guitar. Because this is something that is super common with guitarists. Guitarists will write drum parts that are not very feasible. It's very, very common for guitarists to come up with these insane drum parts that the drummer is going to look at and be like, I can't play this. Not because I don't want to or because I don't have the skills, because you're asking me for something that is physically impossible. That kind of thing. So, a bit more insight into this kind of thing. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, and it seems like we're fully... We have the... Yeah, and it seems we've looped. It looks like we looped here halfway through. Let me check a bit more. You can hear those timpani rolls very nicely. Oh, and something interesting here was the violins doing the motif, having a call and response with the horns over there. So call and response being a musical conversation. You could hear it just now when the violin stopped, the horns, the brass started playing, and yeah, call, response, musical conversation. It's a really, really cool thing to do, especially if you have the instruments for it. It's really cool. Mangosteen, welcome today. How you doing? So let's see. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh yes, and the brass over there engaged in a little bit of chromaticism. Usually I don't talk too much about chromaticism because I didn't have the keyboard to explain it, but now I do, so let me explain it, right? So chromaticism comes from the idea of the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale being all 12 tones of the music that we use in the West. In the case of a piano, it's going to be all black and white keys. These are the 12 tones of your chromatic scale, out of which usually we pick 7, and then we get a scale when you have that. So let's say we do the scale of C major. There you go, all the white keys in the keyboard, which means whenever you play any of the other keys, any of the black keys in the keyboard, you are engaging in chromaticism. Now, chromaticism can be many things. It can be indicative of modulation. It can be just a way of smoothing out your melodies, that kind of thing. And there are many, many ways, but the idea is that you're borrowing from the chromatic scale whether to go to another scale and start some modulation. Modulation is when you change from one set of chords, one scale to another scale, or... Yes. And yes, Puya, yes they are. Because now I finally get to explain things. So let's say we have our trusty C major motif. If we were to engage in chromaticism, we could do something like this. That kind of thing that just extends the sound ever so slightly and gives you this kind of stuff. It's very, very common, very popular to use chromaticism. It's really fun. Let's see where it goes. You have those accents being done over there. A little bit of accents. And I heard the woodwinds echoing the bum 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 kind of phrase. Really, really cool. Let's see where it goes. And mostly what we're getting from the rest. So we are having, so yes, at the end of the day, we are having the two main things. We have the riff and the drums going, we have the slower melody, and then in the background we are getting what is called stingers. Stingers. Stingers are shorter, simpler things that are usually not for the purposes of the motif or the melody or anything like that. It's purely for additional texture and accents and that kind of stuff. And yes, now that we have the keyboard, I can actually show practical examples of what I'm talking about, because that's one of the things that we had been missing out on with the LFAs. The fact that I would give a lot of the theoretical and explain you the theoretical, but the thing about music is that a lot of time you just need to hear it. So being able to make you hear it, now we have that, and that's going to take more time, which is why I'm doing changes here and there to the format. But yeah, let's see where it goes, because I think this goes the same, and then it's going to loop back again. Very cool melody there in the violins. Very nice. So the stinger can be explained by chopping and say high treble notes in this piece. You could do that. Stingers can be very easily overdone, and it's very easy to mess them up. You have to be very careful when you use stingers in your music, because it's very easy to overload it, because there is a point, again, when if you start overshadowing the motif and you start taking away the spotlight from it, it will get jealous and it will lead to disaster. It's very, very interesting how temperamental motifs can be. So yeah, let's see, because I think this is gonna loop, and then it loops the same way it did before. So yeah, it sounds like this is the kind of track that just loops infinitely until something interrupted in the game. And I'm gonna chuck it to, I mean, this is 2020. I don't know, dude, but we're just gonna say this sounds like it's designed in the spirit of older RPGs, like JRPGs, like, you know, Final Fantasy VII kind of things. So I am going to give them that bit of leeway, because in that sense the loop makes sense. So there you have it. That was It Looks Like a Boss from the epic Conquest 2 original game soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, which is a tangible, real possibility right now, it blows my mind. Thank you very much again, everybody, for being here. I do not take this for granted. I am grateful every single day that I get to do this at all, and that any of you like it to begin with. So thank you. I really appreciate it. If we somehow hit 10,000, I will take a single fan fiction of the choice of the community, and I will fully produce, record, and voice act an audiobook for it. We have a member who offered to do a Discord Nitro giveaway. If you have any other ideas of what we could do to build hype, or if you want to offer to contribute, let me know. We'll make it happen. This has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. No account duping, no botting, no alt accounts, no buying followers, no rat behaviors like that. Go share the streams, the videos with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two distinct concepts, by the way. Use the hype function on YouTube. I don't know how it works, but we have a group on the Discord that does, so go check out the Discord, go coordinate with them. Artists on YouTube, if you are a musician on YouTube and you would like to collaborate, whether you want my guitars or my Mongolian throat singing, you know, the good old kind of thing, or some voice acting or some singing, whatever it is, just let me know, reach out, let me know. And if you're in the audience, you know any artists that could benefit from it, let them know. Please do not harass anyone, do not spam anyone, right? Be cool about it, don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least when I schedule, regardless of the tier that you're in. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment. It has the instructions on what to do. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch, both linked down below. So if you live in Casino, Australia, and you're like, what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Don't worry, just go to the Discord or the Twitch, and they both show the schedule in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because of course I do. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where we put the recordings of the video game after shows when they happen. They get recorded on the main channel and then the recordings go there. Link down below, or just search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G and you got it. And yeah. There you go. It looks like a boss. Fun stuff, man. Fun. Really, really good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.